welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be something a little bit different. I have always loved to read. I read a lot at work. If I ever get a chance, I like to read on my breaks and things like that. So I read a lot. I really love to read. And I've always kind of wanted to do this type of video where it's like a book club. So I'm going to pick 3 books that I have read in the last, between however many episodes, whatever I've read between this time and then next time will be that set of videos. Excuse the one missing nail. That's a story in and of itself. But yeah, I'm just going to basically choose the books, and then when I've read 3 more, I'll film another one of these. But I picked 3 random books that I recently finished, and I'm just going to talk to you guys about them, and then in the comments, hopefully you guys will tell me your opinions on these books, and maybe leave suggestions for books that you guys think I should read in the future. I did write some notes down as I was reading these books, so if you see me looking down, I have just a little notebook here with that. So the first thing I'm just going to do is show you guys the book. So the first one is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. The next is a book, a different version of Cinderella. And the final one is a book called Come From Away, and this is by Genevieve Graham. So let's just start with Gone Girl. So if you guys know anything about me, this is one of my absolute all-time favorite books. I love this book. I've seen the movie and it's fine, it's a good movie, but nothing compares to this book. Although I do find the movie and the book to be similar, there's just something about having this book. I've read this probably 10 times, and I'm not exaggerating at all. I am obsessed with this book. I love it. I have the movie version of it, but there's other versions of it. It is an amazing book. I don't know when it came out, the movie. Let me see. I don't know. It wasn't crazy long ago. I got this at Indigo. I think it was 2 for $15 or something when I bought it, and it's incredible. The book is 555 pages long. It's a New York Times bestseller. It is amazing. So basically, really quick, I'll try not to do spoiler alerts in all of these, but just as a disclaimer, if you guys haven't read these books, I might divulge a little bit too much detail, but I'll try not. But if you haven't read this book or seen the movie, basically it's about 2 writers. They meet in New York, they fall in love, they end up moving back to his hometown to look after his sick mom. And she ends up being a crazy person, the wife, and puts him on this huge elaborate goose chase, and it's just, it is such an amazing book. I love psychological thrillers. That is my genre. If I could pick any genre, it would be that. You'll notice some of these books in the future as well won't be those, but usually the ones that I'm the most passionate about are the psychological thrillers. They're amazing. And this is no exception. This one is an incredible book. Some notes that I wrote on here. The book is very similar to the movie. I do think that they follow it pretty well, and usually I'm a huge person, I do not endorse the movies. I'm all about the books, but this one is pretty similar, but I definitely like the book better. Yeah, something I should mention, it is more of an adult read. I don't know, 16 or 18. Plus, probably there is kidnapping and sex and rape accusations, and it is just a psychological thriller, so just use some discretion if you're younger. But I love this book. It is just, it's an incredible book. I think what makes this book so amazing, to me at least, is that it's not predictable, but it's not so out there that you're like, what? It's an amazing book. The words are great, the back and forth is great. It is written in the husband and the wife, so each chapter will flip back and forth between them, which I think really adds to the book. Usually I don't like when books are written like that, but this book is amazing. I have recommended this to every one of my friends, all of my family. This is an amazing book. And having read it probably like close to 10 times, I can honestly say I'd never get bored of it. And it's so amazing, and you need to read this book. I guess I'll give like a rating. Should we do a rating? I would 100% say 10 out of 10 for this one, but use discretion if you are younger or recommending it to somebody else, or if certain things trigger you, because there is talk about rape, there is kidnapping, there is, there's some adult material in this that talks about sex, but it is an amazing book. And if you're of age or you aren't triggered by things like that, I would recommend 100% this book. Okay, so the next book we're going to talk about is Cinderella. And you guys are probably like, what? Aren't you 20? Like, why are you reading a children's book? And 100% this is totally a children's book. I bought this at Costco. It was $8.19. This is the Have Courage, Be Kind, The Tale of Disney Cinderella. This is the one that they put out after they made that live action version of Cinderella. I loved that movie. Let me just tell you, I'm a huge Disney person. You guys would probably know that if you watch past videos. I go to Disney World as much as I can. I love Disney. I love anything Disney. Cinderella was my childhood. Like all of these movies that are coming out now, I'm a child. But when I saw this at Costco, right after this movie came out, I picked it up right away because I was like, that's awesome. Like, it's a beautiful book. Like, if you guys can see that. I know there's a glare from the light, but it's a beautiful book. It is hard copy. This one is soft copy, obviously. But I actually never read it. It sat on my bookshelf for a really long time, and then when I found it, I obviously had to read it. So this is a super, 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 super easy read. This will take no effort to read. There are pictures in the book, not that many, like it's not crazy, but like there are some pictures. And let me find the font. It's not big writing. I don't know if you guys can see that. It is not big, as you guys can see. Like, the type isn't super big or anything, but it is such a good book. It is exactly like the movie version, and the animation does look like the actors that played Cinderella in them. I think it's cute, but this is also written in the back and forth where it's like the prince and then Ella. So that's kind of fun. This is just such an easy read, and I'm really looking forward to when my daughter gets older and we can read this together. But yeah, it's a super easy read. It is the exact version of Cinderella from the movie, which is basically just the Cinderella that we all have grown up with. But, evil stepmother, evil stepsisters. Cinderella's dad passes away. She becomes their servant, basically. Then she meets the prince. He invites everybody to the ball. She goes. They fall in love. He doesn't know who she is. She loses her slipper on the way out. He picks it up and then goes on a quest to find Cinderella. But yeah, this is an amazing book. I would totally recommend this if you guys are interested in. It's just a super easy read, but even as a 20-year-old, I really enjoyed this. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this. It is a happy ending. This one is, I guess, a happy ending. Everything comes to a conclusion, but definitely a different kind of ending. But this is just your classic fairy tale, and it's amazing. There really is nothing like sitting in your warm, cozy bed with some twinkly lights, a cup of tea, and a big, comfy sweater. Also, this sweater is, let me show you guys. It is the Mythical sweater, Rhett and Link, from Good Mythical Morning. I saw them live last week in Toronto. They came to Toronto, and I went to the show, and it was amazing. Everybody that was supposed to go with me canceled last minute, so I actually went all by myself. But I got this sweater, and it was an amazing show. It was incredible. But yeah, this sweater is just, I got it in a medium, so it's nice and big and comfy and cozy. And like I said, we live in Canada, so it's cold here, and it's just super nice to have this. comfy cozy and in bed with a good book. That is like my all-time favorite night, but yeah. Okay, the last book that I'm going to talk about today is Come From Away. The author of this is Genevieve Graham. This is a Canadian book. I actually picked this up. So there's a play, a musical, I think. I don't know. It's called Come From Away. It's touring Canada right now. I'm actually going to see it in a couple of weeks. But I picked this up thinking, oh, Come From Away, that's probably the book about the movie, so I'm just going to pick it up. I didn't even read it or anything. I just picked it up. And come to find out, it's not the same story at all, but this one was an amazing book. For one, the book is just soft copy. It has 324 pages long, and then at the very back there's some like reading questions. Like it says books or questions for book club, which I thought was so cool. I'm not going to go through those because I'd rather just talk a little bit about the book, but if you guys would be interested in doing a whole video where we discuss the questions, I would be so interested in that. So if you would like that, leave it down below and I can do that. But yeah, this is a book by a Canadian author. She lives in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and this is basically a book about Canadian history. So it's set during World War II in Nova Scotia, and it's kind of your typical love story gone wrong, basically. It's the story of a Canadian girl who falls in love with a Nazi, and other than that, I can't really tell you anything without you guys reading the book, but it's amazing. It does say it's based on true stories, which I think is amazing, and that's really, really cool. This is a super easy read. It's a love story. Obviously, people get drawn into love stories. I do, for sure. It's a really easy read. It's this is quality reading, in my opinion, whereas, like, Cinderella is just super easy, and you're mindless when you think about it. This one, it doesn't really get you thinking too hard or anything, but it's a very enjoyable read. It's definitely a side of World War II that you would never hear about. You know, that forbidden love and Nazis who leave, and, you know, you don't really hear what the Nazis were thinking when they were in war with the rest of the world, so that is really, really interesting. You also see some sides of the war that we do talk about, but not a lot. Like, the girl in the book, her family, I think she has 2 or 3 brothers, and they go away into the war and, you know, get injured and come back and don't come back, and so things like that are really, you know, this book is just, So basically, this book is about judgment, it's about love, it's about fear, it's about acceptance, it's about change, it's about education. It is an incredible book. I love reading books by Canadian authors when I can, and this is something that I'm definitely going to look into this author and see if there's any more. It does say on the top she's the best-selling author of something called Tides of Honor, so I might look into that. She has 3 brothers, by the way, the girl in the book. But, yeah, this was such a different read for me. This is definitely not something I usually gravitate towards because, like I said, I go for those psychological thrillers, like Gone Girl. I read a lot of Stephen King. Like, that's just kind of the things that I read. So this one was definitely different for me. Super easy read. I read it very quickly. The font is, of course, I pull open a page that doesn't have writing on it. It's pretty simple. Oh, okay, I did not mean to do this. This book is also written in the back and forth. What? That's actually crazy, and I literally said I don't usually read those. I literally just realized that. So with Gone Girl, it's written, if I can find the beginning of a chapter. This one says Amy Elliott Dunn, and then the next chapter will be written by her husband, Nick Dunn. Well, not written, but it goes back and forth like that. With Cinderella, it goes either Ella or the Prince. And that's absolutely insane that I just realized this one does that as well. So this one doesn't go back and forth every single chapter. It is kind of like in sections. So this is Grace, which is the book, and then she'll have a few chapters from her point of view. And then the love interest is Rudy, which is her, the Nazi. But yeah, that's actually so crazy. I didn't realize that. I don't know what that style is called where the authors flip back and forth. If you guys know, let me know what that's called. But yeah, this one, again, this is a quality read. It's by a Canadian author, so you can't really go wrong. I'm Canadian, in case you didn't realize. But yeah, it's a really good, really easy read. But that is everything. Those are the 3 books for this week. I totally recommend all 3 of them. And I'm going to be honest, just because this set of books, they were all positive, that's not how it's always going to be. You know, I do read things that I don't love or don't fall in love with, so expect in the future for there to be books that maybe I'm not the most fond about, although I'm not going to be a Groot or anything. If I don't like it, I don't like it, and that's just how it is. But I love all of those, and I would totally recommend them if you guys are looking for new books to read. Anyways, that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a like, and I will continue to do this kind of video. I hope you guys liked it because I love reading, and then I love talking about the books, and obviously this is just the start of the discussion. I would love to hear what you guys think about these books and really get talking about them, because that's more of like the book club that I mean. Obviously I'm just going to sit here and be like, these are awesome, this is what I like about them, this is what I didn't like. But yeah, it takes 2 people to have a conversation. So let me know what you guys think about these books, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!